It is our pleasure now to be joined by the father of Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. Quentin Milroe is with us now, and we'll talk some about Folds of Honor. He is a man that has served in the United States military, in the U.S. Marines. He and his wife. His wife served in the United States Navy, and Folds of Honor is a project that is close to our hearts always. Mr. Milroe, welcome in. I hope you're doing well today.
Hey, thank you. Yes, sir. Doing well. How about you guys?
We're doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. We often talk to your son, Jalen. We know what the year's been like for him as a parent of Jalen. What has the year been like?
It's been crazy. I can say it's been a wild ride for us, but we're enjoying every minute of it.
Well, you know, we're all parents and we're all protective of our kids. And when you hear the negative criticism in September, how hard was it to bite your tongue? Things you heard in the media, things you saw on social media?
You kind of mentioned my military background, my wife's military background. I think it touched every part of our military bearing, every part of it, just trying to keep everything in and just stay focused and not kind of go into the negativity and just reinforce, the positive within Jalen and who he is as a person and as a football player. So, but I can't say it didn't, but it tested every bit of us because, of course, it's your child. And so it's never easy hearing people say negative things.
Yeah, I totally can get that. You know, some parents wear headphones or earbuds, listen to the game on the radio. I don't think you guys do that. You hear everything, don't you?
Yeah, and I kind of blame that on my wife because I used to try to sit away and try to watch the game from afar, but my wife kind of talked me back into sitting amongst the crowd and stuff like that, just to be around our family because we have family there. So that I'm sitting around our family and stuff like that. So you do hear some of the negative things, but I will say I hear more positive than I hear negative as of late.
Our friend Charles Barkley was on a show, and I spoke to you in Atlanta about the interview he did with us where he said some very nice things. And I know you're particularly moved by that.
Oh, most definitely. As a parent, to see your son or see your children out in the field or play the courts or anything like that, just seeing them do well. As a parent, you see those things, but then to see someone of his caliber speak of Jalen in the manner he did, it was very moving, very touching for us.
You're a big Charles Barkley fan. Is that what I heard? I think I heard Jalen tell us you really like Charles.
I did. So growing up, he was one of my basketball players I really enjoy watching. Of course, I'm a Michael Jordan fan overall, but Charles Barkley was one of those guys I really love playing. I love the way he played the game.
Well, we thought it'd be really cool if you could talk to Charles. So he's with us now. So here is the NBA and Auburn great Charles Barkley. Welcome in, Charles. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Hey, thank you, Mr. Milroe, for the kind words, man. Number one, I want to thank you for your service and your wife's service. I got teachers, nurses, and anybody in the armed service, man. I got a lot of love and respect for you. So thank you for that more than anything.
No, I appreciate it.
But I just want to tell you how proud I am of your son because, obviously being from Alabama, I have to pay attention to both schools. War Eagle I love my school. And listen, I don't want no jokes about the Iron Bowl. It's still too soon, guys. It's still too soon. Hey, I think about that every day right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, man, the only thing was worse than that was when Auburn was at the Final Four in basketball, and we were up 2, and they called a foul with no time to go on a 3-point shot, and the kids made 3 free throws in a row. That's the worst I've ever felt for my Auburn family until the Iron Bowl this year. That was flat out brutal. I mean, that was brutal.
It had us all. It had us all in the stands on Alabama side. So we didn't know what was going to happen, and just see that ball go in the air. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm so proud of your son because I saw after the first game there was a lot of negativity. And then when he got benched, I watched the next game, and he was the first guy out the tunnel. He was pumping up the other quarterbacks, being a great teammate. And anybody who plays sports, man, the number one thing you got to be is a good teammate. Because I always tell people, nobody tries to drop the ball, nobody tries to fumble, no quarterback tries to throw an interception. That's all part of the game. But how you handle adversity really dictates a lot about you as a person, as a man. And when I watched him that game, and then Coach Saban went back to him, he was ready. He didn't sit. That's the thing that was really impressive. Like, he didn't play scared. Cause 'cause everybody's like, "Yo, he gonna have a short leash." I'm like, he can't have a short leash because he chose to go back to him. He's gonna ride or die with him, and they've been riding ever since.
Yes, sir.
And the one thing I said, man, that dude got some good parents because the way he handled adversity. And then when I found out y'all were in the service, I was like, oh yeah, that explains a lot about him because the way he's handled himself, the adversity, and now the success. I mean, it's been like 3 damn months since they lost the game.
Yes, yes. We hope we can keep that rolling. We hope that we keep that rolling. And if I can be remiss, if I can add my wife in because she's sitting here as well. So no, you said thank you for my service, but I also want to include her in if I can.
Get her in front of the camera because she may actually have Charles Barkley ahead of Michael Jordan. You had Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley was 2. Hey, Mrs. Milroe.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Good. Is Charles your number one, or are you still Michael Jordan too?
Charles, my guy.
Charles, your guy. Okay,
number one, I appreciate it. Hey, Michael Jordan made a lot of us money, so I ain't gonna never be. So for, I have been involved with Wounded Warriors for a minute. Tell me about Folds of Honor.
So foldsofhonor.org, Charles, is a great organization. Our friends at Anheuser-Busch have really adopted it, and they've donated, what is it, 21 million over 13 years?
That sounds right, yeah.
21 million in 13 years.
And what they do, and this is so critical, is they give college scholarships to the children and spouses of those that are killed in the line of duty or wounded Purple Heart recipients, and they make sure their college is completely taken care of. And they've done it for first responders too, Chuck. So it's an amazing organization. 90% of everything they raise goes right to the scholarship fund. Very low overhead. They are highly rated organization. And, Charles, I know you feel like we do about the military, Mr. and Mrs. Milroe and everyone that has served. And we appreciate it so much, but a lot of times the family gets forgotten about in situations like this, and they make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've been, one of the first charities I picked, I pick a different charity every year. One of my first charities was Wounded Warriors. And after spending a lot of time with the troops, I found out our government sucks. They really sucks taking care of our veterans. I mean, it's a travesty and a disgrace the way they have treated our veterans. So I make it a point that I always let veterans know, hey, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you with Wounded Warriors. And I like to make a small donation to Folds of Honor. I'll just because this is a privilege for me to talk to you guys, and thank you. I'm gonna give $100,000 to Folds of Honor.
Wow,
that's awesome, Charles.
Well, no, man, these troops, man, it's so amazing. I did a USO tour a few years ago. I went to Iraq, Kuwait, Dubai, and Qatar. And what was really crazy about it, we had to keep it like top secret. I couldn't tell my mom and my grandmother, 2 of the most important people in my life. And I used to talk to them every day when they were alive. But the government's like, hey, these terrorists would love to kill a celebrity. So when we do these USO tours, you can't have any contact with your family in case somebody might be, intercept a text message or a voice message. And my mother and grandmother, because I stayed over there, I think about 2 weeks, and I didn't talk to my mother and grandmother for 2 weeks. Man, when I got back to Alabama, I thought they were going to kill me. And I did. I had to explain to them, I said, this is what happened, guys. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't send any text messages because they said, hey, the one thing we can't do is because if these terrorists get to kill a celebrity, but it was one of the coolest things that I've ever did. Like I said, I went to Iraq, Kuwait, Dubai, and Qatar. And I tell you what was crazy, man. It was like 145 degrees over there. I was like, they're like, well, it gets up to about 150. I said, well, good thing we came through when they were having a cold front. I mean, it was unbelievable. So you guys, y'all got my information. I like to donate $100,000 to the Folds of Honor because that's a great organization.
That's
incredible.
Yeah. We're not surprised, Charles. You're one of the most generous people we know. Mr. and Miss Milroe, you have any questions for Charles? It's a rare a rare chance to interview one of the greatest of all time.
I don't have any questions. I just said it is a privilege watching you play, and I continue watching now when you do the NBA games and or the pregame stuff. But I just enjoy watching you play, and I appreciate the kind words you said about us and our son. I truly appreciate you.
Well, number one, thank you for those kind words. I really admire you guys for being in the service. I mean, everybody talks a good game, but when you actually always talk about teachers, nurses, anybody in the service, like I put firemen and policemen in that category also, when you really just want to do the right thing. So I want to thank you guys. And I'm so proud of your son, man, what he's accomplished. And like I say, good luck in the playoffs. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why we had a spy on a 4th and 31.
Don't figure it out. We're glad with it. We're okay with it.
Hey, I was sitting there with Takeo Spikes. He says, "Yo, man, they're rushing 2 guys, and they got a spy. Like he's gonna run 41 yards." And I was like, "This is the worst defensive game plan in the history of college football." But you know what? Your son made a hell of a throw. It was a hell of a catch. And you just got to take your hat off to him. I mean,
Appreciate
if
that.
you like sports, he made a hell of a throw, and it was a hell of a catch. So, hey, as disappointed I was, you got to say, take your hat off and say congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Yes, sir. Definitely. Especially from Auburn, great.
Yeah, listen, we were this close to we had a decent season. We were really close to having a great season. If we could have beaten New Mexico State and finished it off beating the Tide. But hey, you know what? I'm all behind Coach Freeze. I really like Coach Freeze and our AD, Mr. Cohen. I'm really excited about our future. And obviously, hey, words I thought I'd never say. Man, I'm ready for basketball season.
Well, Mr. and Miss Milroe, Charles, thank you very much for the time. Very generous with your time, Charles, and with your money. Foldsofhonor.org if people want to donate as well. It's an amazing organization. Thank you all so much.
No problem.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.